Today we'll bake a thin crust pizza that's worth eating to the very last crumb. No gritty taste of burnt cornmeal and no crust edges left on people's plates. Here is the dough I made yesterday. Kids, don't try this shaping technique on other dough recipes. It might not work. 30 minutes before you're ready to bake, get the dough out to room temperature and preheat the oven. Put the pizza stone on the bottom rack. Set your oven to 500 Fahrenheit and let it preheat for 30 minutes. Just because the oven light goes off doesn't mean the pizza stone is heated through, so be patient. Take a piece of parchment paper, roughly 15 by 17 inches, and fold over the corners. Gently get the dough out of the container. You want to dislodge it on the sides and then turn it out into your hand. Pour the remaining oil into the middle of the parchment paper and spread it into an 8-inch circle. Place your dough oiled side down. Oil your hands and stretch your dough with flat hands, rotating the paper after each stretch. Make sure to use flat hands, not fingertips, or your dough will rip. If some parts become very thin, avoid them and work on the thick parts. You want to keep the periphery of your paper from getting too oily so that the dough can grab onto it as your dough circle gets large. This will help it stay thin and not shrink back. Rotating the parchment paper might seem elusive at first, so let me show you how I do it. I lay my hands on the dough, but apply no downwards pressure. Alternatively, you can use the handles you created by folding over the corners to rotate your parchment paper. Wipe the extra oil off the parchment paper to prevent it from leaking on your stone, and trim the parchment with scissors. You want to leave a border, but get rid of corners since they tend to burn in the oven. Top your pizza with a very thin layer of sauce. If you need the sauce recipe, I'll link to it below this video. Of course, anything your heart desires can go on pizza. Just make sure to keep it all thin, or the crust will get soggy. Let's sprinkle our pizza with cheese. Slide a peel or rimless baking sheet under your pizza and slide it into the oven, parchment paper and all. How long to bake your pizza depends on how much stuff you put on top. Start checking an empty flatbread after 4 minutes and a pizza with toppings after 8. The pizza is done when the bottom is very brown and crisp. If your oven is not baking evenly, rotate your pizza with tongs. Keep in mind that it's always better to overbake than underbake. When the pizza is done, slide the rimless sheet back under it and pull it out. Slide it onto a board, get rid of parchment paper, and sprinkle with a little basil. For more solutions to your persistent dough problems, don't forget to subscribe to Helen's Kitchen channel. And if you're ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.